Greetings, fellow artistes, and welcome to another episode of You Saw It, Now Draw It. I'm Scott Gabala-Broxome, children's illustrator, author, and caricaturist, and today I'm going to show you how to draw a cobra snake. So let's get going. Before I show you how to draw the cobra, a couple of facts about cobras. First of all, and you probably know this, is that when a cobra, they call this a hood that kind of comes out from the neck. When that hood comes out, it indicates that the cobra is either angry or threatened. They can actually grow, I don't know about this one here, but they can actually grow to be as long as 18 feet long. They eat small mammals, lizards, birds, and actually sometimes even other snakes. They live in Africa, Australia, and southern Asia. And there's actually 270 different kinds of cobras around the world. And their bite is so poisonous that it's actually powerful enough to kill an elephant. So, we're not going to draw the real thing, we're just going to draw a picture of a cobra. So, here we go. Where do we start? Well, this picture is interesting because obviously we have to start with the shapes and then add the details. But this can look kind of complicated. But if we take it piece by piece and line by line, we can do it. So here we go. What we're going to do to start with is we're going to start up here at the top with the head. We're going to work down and then we'll finally take care of that long, long tail. Okay. Shape of the head. If I cover this up, cover that hood, and we just focus on that head, what shape do you see? Just this shape right here. It's kind of an oval shape, isn't it? Okay, so what we're going to do, we'll start about here on the paper, and what we're going to do is we're going to draw an oval shape, kind of an oval egg shape, but show you what we're going to do. We're going to bring it around, but as I bring it around, see how this comes up? I'm actually going to come up a little bit on this side of the oval, and I'm going to bring it around like this. It's kind of a strange shaped oval. So what did I do? I started here, it's kind of like a C shape, didn't I? But I came up a little bit and around like that. Kind of like somebody took a little piece of the oval out there. Okay. What we're going to do is we might as well put the mouth in here, and what I see is the mouth goes up and down and goes back like this, doesn't it? So right here, where we took the little piece of the oval out, we're going to come up just a little bit right here, and we're going to go up and down, and then we're going to bring it back like this. Here, I fix that up a little bit here. Okay, like that. Then what we're going to do is we might as well add the eye. That's pretty easy, isn't it? For the eye, we're talking about a shape that is a circle. All right, so we'll put the circle in there. Then what I want you to do is I want you to put a smaller circle inside there, like that. I know it's hard for you to probably see because it's so dark, but there's the pupil of the eye is black and there's sort of a dark brown going around it here. But inside this smaller circle that we drew, what I want you to do is, over to the left side, is draw a small, even smaller circle. So what did I do? I know it's kind of hard to see that. Let me kind of do a bigger version of the eye here. I put the smaller circle inside like this, and then right over to the side here, I'm going to put a smaller circle like that. Because I want you to do, I know we're kind of adding the details a little bit here first, but what I'd like you to do for now anyway, the smallest circle we're going to keep white. But we're going to color in or darken in this next circle here. See how that looks like an eye already? So let's do that in here. Okay. Beautiful. All right, let's add one more thing. We're going to add the shape of the tongue, And the tongue looks like two lines coming out like this. They look like fangs almost, don't they? But then we're going to put an upside down U connecting them. All right, two diagonal lines. Then we're going to put an upside down U connecting them like that. Okay. Now what we're going to do is, we might as well add this hood to start with. We're going to come right down the head here on the left side, come down like this, and curve it in just a little bit like this. All right. Then what we're going to do is, we're going to come up here, and it's kind of right about here. So this is what we're going to do right here. So just to the left of the tongue here, so it's not touching the tongue, we're going to bring another line that comes out and goes in like this. Okay? And what I want you to do with this line, just keep going till we get down here, and then we're going to bring it right around like this. So we came down, we're going to bring it right around till it curves around like that. Kind of looks like one great big long hair that's curling around from underneath the snake's chin there. Okay. What we're going to do now, very simply, and this will add more details later, I want you to go underneath the chin here. And with your pencil, I know it's kind of hard to see this, but what we're going to do is we're going to draw a line that comes down to about here. All right. Then we're going to move over and we're going to draw this line. I know it's kind of hard to see probably too. We're going to go like this and draw the line till it comes down and touches like that. So we've got this shape here, and we've got this one that doesn't quite touch over here, so it's still open. Because what we're going to do now, right here, where on the left side where we stopped, we're going to keep going. And we're going to bring that down like this, and we're going to bring it over till it touches like that. Okay, so what we're doing is this is the line we're coming down, and it's coming around and touching this part that we drew before. Okay, see this little part here? That's all we can see of the tail that curls around, isn't it? Just this tiny little dark part. So what we're going to do is right here, we're going to come up just a little bit and bring it down just a little bit. So it's just a little sliver right there. Okay. Then what we're going to do, we're going to skip over the neck here. We're going to draw this part of the snake here. So what we're going to do, take your pencil and we're going to bring it, and it's not going, you see it isn't straight, is it? If I did a straight line for this, it would be like this, wouldn't it? We're curving slightly, just slightly curving over to the side, like this, before we come around, right? And actually, see how this, if I measure this with my fingers, see this is smaller, this is bigger. So if this one is smaller here, this one has to be a little bit bigger. So we're coming down a little bit farther here. Okay. Now what we're going to do, and this is the tricky part, but you're going to get this, because this is curving around, this part here, the tail, goes all the way up to here, doesn't it? So what we're going to do, let's back up from where we stopped. We're going to come back up here and take your pencil, and we're going to bring it down, kind of like a slide a little bit. We're going to come down like this, but this is the line we're going to follow. So what we're going to do, we're going to bring it around, and I think I went too, no, I think I'm all right. Bring it over here like this. Then we're going to curve it around like this, which is the line coming around like that. And then we're going to stop, and we're going to curve it around like this till it touches the neck. Okay, what did I just do? All right, let's back up a little bit here. This is what I did. I came around like this. It's farther down than this because the curve is bigger, right? I'm going to go back up again. We're going to curve around like this, like a slide. We're going to stop, but then we're going to turn it around, bring it back up here, and make a very short little turn like that. What we're doing is we're going down like this, around, and like that. So that's the top of the snake's coil. So over here, right this here, this small little one, what we're going to do is we're going to draw a line that curves down, but no, it does. That's right. It curves all the way down to the bottom. I was going to stop there, but it does. So we're doing this, just like that. Okay. Then what we're going to do, in order to make this look like a tail, oh, I beg your pardon, let's do this part here first, right? We might as well do this. We're going to come up here, and we're going to draw this little line. It's going right across like this. Okay. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to wait over here. We're going to skip way back over to here now. Because what we're going to do is we're going to do this part of the tail, and that'll make more sense as to all of this kind of meandering around here on the page. So let's go back over here. We're going to come down to the bottom right here. We're going to go over just a little bit, and we're going to draw a curve that comes down like this. Okay. Then what we're going to do, bring the line so it curves all the way over to here. All right. So we're still not touching this one here. And it has to be a little bit lower than this, because what we're going to do is we're going to turn it around like this, and then we're going to go all the way back. What I want you to do is come close to this, but don't touch it till we hit the other side there. Okay. So what in the world did I just do? Okay. We came around like this, draw a big line like this that slightly curves down like a flattened out smile. We come around like this, and then we draw the curve back up. But actually, you know what? I think I'm going to bring it a little bit closer to this here, like that. Okay. All right. And then right here, we're bringing that back up to touch right here. So we're connecting that finally. Okay. And then to finally finish this tail off right here, this curve that came down that we drew before, which is this line here, we need this part right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw a curved line that comes up like that. And see what happens? Already, just by doing that, it almost feels as if this tail is coming around and going around and coming around here, and that the end of it is actually stuck somewhere underneath here. So there's actually more of the tail, but we just can't see it. Okay. Oh, how did you do on that coil? I'm sure you probably did great. That's the toughest part. The rest is pretty easy. And then we can start to add some of the details. And I'm not going to do all of this because we'd be working on this for 45 minutes to an hour probably. And this is something that you can do later on when the video is over. And you can also add color if you want to too. This beautiful yellow color with this sort of golden brown color on the scales here. But let's just indicate a little bit of this. Let's start with the eye here for a little bit. I don't know if you can see this, but there's all these different sections on the snake's head. So what I'm seeing here, if you draw, and it can kind of be wiggly, a circle around that eye like that. And then what you're going to do is, you know, if you draw the sun, you make the rays of the sun come out like this, right? Let's do the same thing here. What we're going to do is we're going to draw a line like this. We're going to draw another one here. So keep bringing them around like this, okay? And then what you can do is you can round them off a little bit at the bottom so they look a little bit more like scales. Because then you can add, I see a scale that comes out like this, okay? There's another one that comes up like this. There's a big one over this, I don't know if you can see this, but it comes right out like this and down. They almost look like tiles, don't they? They all fit perfectly together though. And some are bigger and some are smaller, so not all of these are the same size. Let's add a couple more on the top here like this. You see another one here and one coming up like this. So it looks more like that hard sort of leathered-like skin that snakes have. There's more underneath here. We can add a few more here. I know I'm going fast here, but to just show you, we can make the mouth a little bit darker here. You could actually lightly shade in around the inside that eye. In other words, this part here, just do it lightly though. Okay. And then what is happening here? What shapes do you see here? I don't know if you can see this in the video. What shapes are these? They're like letter U's, aren't they? And depending on the direction, like here, they actually look like little letter C's going in diagonals. Here, they're like backwards C's, aren't they? Because the tail is going, let's see, it's going this way and then it's going this way, so it would be the opposite. So let's just do a little bit of this and we can wrap it up. If we bring this down like this, let's add some U's. But what we're going to do underneath it, so this is my row of U's. Let's move over, and underneath these two U's, we're going to make one more. Underneath these, one more. So what am I doing? I'm always kind of moving over a little bit, so they're not like this. You're moving over like this here. So we're not doing this, we're doing this. So let's move over and add another line. Let's go like this, kind of like shingles on a roof. We'll bring them down like this. Okay, look at that. Already that looks like it's wonderful. Do the same thing on the other side here. I won't do the whole thing here. This is something that you can do later on if you really want to. Okay. Then one more thing, the sections on the belly of the snake. Now these are actually lines going across, aren't they? So what I'm seeing are lines sort of like, almost like smiles, aren't they? All right, so if we add these going down like this, and suddenly they go right to the end here, and what I'm doing is I'm changing the direction, so it goes like that. So what we can do on this side here, see how I left a space? You can add some of those scales going down like this. So here, instead of the U's, what do we have? We have C's, don't we? So, but look at the direction. In other words, I didn't go straight down with my C's, did I? I went a diagonal, didn't I? And then if you can, do this. Now, you know what you could do? Actually, if it's easier, you could just turn your paper sideways and do the rows like this. Okay. There you go. And then the other one, same thing, right? It's going in a different direction. It's going like this, but just turn it sideways. And if that's easier for you, you can do this. All right. And if you're really adventurous, you could do it across the entire snake like that. And then, of course, the one last thing, and it actually has it in this picture. You see the little shadow underneath here? The snake is not flying in the air. There's a shadow underneath it. So what we're going to do is take your pencil. You actually, if you hold it like this, instead of holding it like this, if you hold it like this and shade like this, it's a little harder to control. But once you get the hang of it, you could shade like this. So we'll put a little shadow underneath here. It goes all the way along. It's not too far out. It's pretty close to the tail. And then we've got another one underneath here. All right. And then there is a little bit of one here. All right. And then it's very dark in here. You can actually shade a little bit if you wanted to here. Give it a little bit of dimension. But there still are, if you can see that, there's still tiny little, in a few places you can see some of the scales. So there we go. We've got our Cobra. And yes, it was pretty tricky getting that coil, but again, if you look for the line, We talked about the shapes, but this one line like this, it really makes it much easier, doesn't it? Well, how did you do? Oh, I'm sure you did a wonderful job as always. Well, thank you so much for drawing along with me. And as always, keep on sketching and draw some awesome pictures.